What's up, Angel City? It's your girl Panda here, and welcome to another episode of Angel City Chicks. This is episode number 64, and I am joined today, of course, by the lovely Nina Kiefer. What's going on,
What's
Nina?
up? Happy anniversary again.
Again, yay! It's wedding anniversary, so thank you for that. Wow, yeah, here we are again. About to recap another
Ooh.
Angel City game, and feeling about the same as the last time.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that we're kind of settling into this pace right here. And it's not for lack of energy or enthusiasm, as we'll get into a little bit later on. But today we are here to recap, of course, the game that happened over the weekend. Angel City was away at Washington Spirit. And it wasn't awful in terms of gameplay.
Correct.
It had its moments that felt energetic. It had its person, in my opinion, that felt super energetic.
It had some bright spots, yes, it did, but at the end of the day, we're still the results are what matters. I mean, this is not an honorable mention league. At the end of the day, and we cannot get awards for spirited effort, play on words there. So yes. So again, we're going to go over this game, and of course you know how we like to do this. We are going to touch on some NWSL news that's happening around the league, as well as some ACFC news. We'll talk about the game. We'll highlight some of the things that went on as well, and then tell you what to expect coming up in the future. So anyways,
Without further ado, should we do some news?
Let's go ahead and start with some news and notes, and then and then we'll kind of warm up into the game recap. You
All right.
ready?
This first piece of news. Oh, first we got to say hi to Daniel. Thanks for being in the comments with us. You can
Hello,
be in the
hello.
comments too. All you got to do is come live with us on our YouTube page, and you can let us know how you're feeling throughout the day. But this first one, I'm actually posting an article into our comment section, and I invite everyone to go to YouTube and to click on this article, because as a soccer stats nerd, I love this. It's your explainer on every NWSL team's tactical identity and style in 100 words or less. Thank you,
Wow, Nina.
ESPN, for giving us all what we need.
Wow, I have so many things I could say that would probably be inappropriate, but yeah. Do you sleep with this next to your nightstand at night?
It's what I fall asleep reading every night. I'm like, tell me more. Tell me more.
I don't know how you would fall asleep. You would be so excited. You'd be like, "I want to see the next. I want to know the next one. And what is this team doing? Oh my god, what about that?" So, but yes, you are correct. Do you want to touch on Angel Cities
Yeah,
and what it says?
let's just go through it very quickly. It talks about, our formation, which, is a standard 4-4-2 in defense, or when we're possessing, we shift more into like a 4-3-3. And what it talks about is something we know for a fact, that we like to control the ball, and our stats line reflects that we are more comfortable possessing and passing the ball. And those are stats that we are good at consistently. And we like to play through the back. And they call out Sarah Gordon specifically for being the player who is able to start those possession sequences. But the problem is, as they clearly point out, is that we lack the precision in the final third to turn the possession into chances. So, the steps are coming into place. It's what we've been saying all along. We lean into those moments where we have the ball and we control it, and we have great pass accuracy. We seem to beat out pass accuracy on every team we play, and we seem to be right there in possession. The problem is that final third, and it's really interesting to see. I thought you were going to do womp womp.
I was totally going for the womp womp button, but we went to magic. Or no, we went to horror. That was the horror button, because it is horrible that we cannot seem to find the back of the net with all the possession that we do have, and all the passing that we're able to string together. And at the end of the day, it just fizzles once it gets into that attacking third. So, I mean, today's game is not going to be much different than that. I mean, that article is spot on, definitely.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see, because as I go through, I also see the style of play that I like the most is it's very Ted Lasso. It's total football. I like the high pressure. I like, all of that goes into it. And the players and the teams that I like watching the most are those that have that high record of defensive action and their ability to pressure and to push up, and that are honestly some of the more physical formations because you're constantly, back and forth along the wing. So, very interesting article. Highly encourage you to give that a read, especially as we go into playing against, future teams. You can kind of take a look at what you're expecting there, but we'll also try and bring that up as we give you our breakdown later. I'll let you know what they said about San Diego Wave.
Yes, we'll get into that. That'll be fun to highlight when we do preview that match, very briefly at the end. But let's move on to our next bit of NWSL news and some good news for any NWSL player in this league to be able to reach this milestone. And OL Reign captain Lauren Lou Barnes is the first to reach this milestone, and it is making 200 regular season appearances in NWSL history. She played all 90 minutes in the Reign's 2-1 win over Kansas City Current on Saturday. So, I mean, hold on.
Oh, we got something coming.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, we like consistency and commitment and just being able to be there for that long and still making an impact. So congratulations to her. Is there anything you want to say about her? And that
I was going to say, I'm probably on my 200th glass of wine since the season started.
Oh boy. Yeah. No, I'm having water today. So gotta throw that in every once in a while. And I went to the gym earlier. Thus the hat to cover up this terrible hair underneath. So I'm like,
I actually had a very low walk day today. I only walked 8,000 steps. I should get up. I should do a walking pod.
Yes, you should walk around with your laptop and hold it and speak to me. That would be amazing. How far?
Yeah, that wouldn't make anyone motion sick or anything
Not
like
at
that.
all.
No.
I 14,000 steps, almost 6.5 miles today. So,
woo, look at you go.
I know, solid. So I feel like if I were to have a glass of wine right now, it would be the only thing in my system, probably. So it would not. It would, yes, it would be fun for everyone listening, I'm sure. But yeah, anyways.
Save that for later.
Right. All right. Well, we all know that we are in the month of Pride, and shout out to ACFC for Sunday, making their presence known at LA's big Pride parade. It was so awesome to see them out there and so colorful. And I would have loved to have been out there, but as you guys know, it was my anniversary, and we took a little mini vacay to just get away and then have some fun. So unfortunately we were not there, but I definitely was looking at all of the pictures and videos that everyone had posted. So Nina, do you want to highlight this little bit of news that kind of piggybacks off of this month?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, so I want to preface this with, Amanda and I acknowledge our privilege. We understand as cis white women, there are certain things allowed to us that not all people in this world enjoy. So we try to educate ourselves. And then because of our platform, we try to educate others. So if ever, there's an opportunity for growth or discussion or anything like that, we want to make sure everyone knows that we do consider ourselves allies. We're not just putting that in our bios right now as like a symbol for anything. This is who we are. These are our values. This is who we strive to be. And so as we talk about this, I want to ask for grace and patience as I continue to educate myself and be on the journey. And I also want to acknowledge the fact that I am not someone who can speak with all the authority on something like this. So as we go into this next article and this next piece of news, we are saying it and putting it out there because we do feel it's important, even though we also acknowledge not necessarily being the best people to educate you on this. So with all that caveat said, Quinn, we love Quinn. Quinn plays for OL Reign. And ahead of all this Pride festivities, Quinn is actually calling out the NWSL to revisit what we're calling problematic transgender athlete policies. And I think this is super important because you can't just say you support LGBTQ, you support trans rights without also having a policy on transgender athletes that is equally supportive. And I don't think they have found a way to do that yet. And Quinn went and took to Twitter to help educate the world on this and to provide light and really opportunity for the NWSL to do better. And one of the things that the NWSL policy states is that their established lines for transgender and for allowing people to participate in the NWSL is based off of testosterone levels, which we know scientifically varies from person to person. It varies between ethnicities. It's not something that you can say this is a girl's testosterone level and this is a man's testosterone level, because naturally by science, there's a lot of overlap. So to have anything like that can be very problematic. And, you know, even more problematic than that, I think, is the fact that the NWSL was very tone deaf in the way they announced this 2 years ago when they released a policy that restricted transgender ability to play in the league on transgender day of visibility.
What?
Somebody didn't read what the policy actually was and was like, oh, transgender, push send.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Tell me that you really aren't paying attention without telling me you aren't really paying attention. I mean, like you said, very tone deaf in that moment to put something out like that. I don't know if they thought putting it out, they were under this impression that it was somehow supportive. But again, like you said, I mean, they're clearly missing a lot of points on this. And another thing they fail is they don't include policies regarding non-binary athletes, which is also another point as well. So again, as you stated in the beginning, I am learning and educating myself every single day on this. And we hope that all of you out there listening, that you don't take what we say as your education, but we take what we say as a place to go out and research it yourself and find out what you can on your own as well. So I think for us, our main thing is to bring things to your attention and tell you, like, this is what's being talked about, not so much to tell you what it means or what it's about or what we feel about it, but to really just bring it up and say, there's an article out there and Quinn is saying these things that we need to all take note of. So, great article to read, and especially, right now in this current climate that we're in.
Absolutely. And we have to also understand that there are political implications with these kinds of policies, because it's affecting things like Title IX. It's affecting things like youth sports. This isn't something that is niched to the NWSL. This is a bigger, larger topic. And the implications of rules that the NWSL puts out will trickle down to kids. And that means generations to come. So we need to educate ourselves now, and we need to be advocates. It's not enough to call yourself an ally. You have to not only learn it, but then you have to use your voice to stand up for people and to try and enact greater change to make more people feel supported. If you just let one or two people do the talking, you're not doing your job.
Yeah, I mean, I think the lesson here is, we've come a long way when it comes to things like transgender rights and inclusion and LGBTQ plus community, but we also have a long way to go. So
you can't just stand next to somebody and call yourself an ally if they're not feeling the same rights as you in society. That's something we need to address as a team. So
absolutely.
Shout out to everyone for educating themselves this Pride. Get on it, learn something new, talk to people, make the change in the world. And with that, let's go to some Angel City news.
Yeah, let's go for it. We have some exciting milestones, of course. We always like to talk about the things that are happening with our teammates, and one of those, Julie Ertz, she made her 100th career NWSL match appearance against the Washington Spirit. So congratulations to her. Hopefully we see a lot more of her. And then, well, spoiler alert on this next one, M.A. Vignola, she scored her first NWSL career goal in the 45th +2 in stoppage time minute in this recent matchup, and we'll get into that and highlight that as well. And then right on the heels of Julie Ertz, Savannah McCaskill appeared in her 97th career NWSL match against the Spirit.
Very exciting stuff all around from Angel City. And I got my Pride shirt delivered, so I'm very happy as the celebrations continue.
Which one did you get?
The one you liked.
The tie-dye one?
Yeah.
Aw, can I borrow it?
Sure, it'll be a dress.
Okay, it'd be cute.
That'd actually be really cute with some biker shorts.
Right? Can fancy it up. Let's go.
Hey.
All right.
Is there into it? You wanna talk about this? Should we rip the Band-Aid off again?
Man, I'm gonna have rashes from all the Band-Aids I'm ripping off whenever you're talking about these games, because I feel like that's all we've been doing is just trying to rip it out. Like I miss talking about games where, by the time we get to the end of it, we're happy and we're smiling. And unfortunately, we're prefacing a lot of these game recaps with it doesn't end well, but let's bring up the good points. Let's talk about the bright spots and
I
everything.
promise we can end it with something happy. When we talk about the away game next week, there will be happiness as we mention Phil's barbecue.
Oh yeah, we have to talk about that too, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good thing we have a meeting later.
Yeah. Might be a Friday, Saturday thing. I'll tell you about it in offline.
Are we going on vacation?
No, I forgot about something that's happening Saturday night, like a big thing. Blink 182 concert.
Oh,
I totally forgot.
right.
I know. I totally forgot. And I was looking at my Ticketmaster. I forget what I was looking at. I think I was researching like tickets against Inter Miami and LAFC, like just kind of going
Oh
back and
my
forth. And I
God.
accidentally hit on my events. I was like, what is this? And I was like, oh crap. Like I'll deal with this later. Like we'll figure it out. I mean, the game is fine. I mean, whatever. I might just look like a punk rocker at the Angel City San Diego game, but don't worry about that. We'll talk about that when we get there. So
right.
we may need to do like a Friday trip to like Phil's and then Saturday and come home. I don't know. We'll talk. We have a meeting later, but
Yeah.
anyways, we're stalling on this game. Let me
Okay,
yeah.
fine.
Let me just
All right.
I'm going to say this. We watched this game. So like you said, it was my anniversary. You guys surprised me and showed up at our little dinner that we had. We were in downtown LA. And
Get yourself a friend that will crash your anniversary dinner.
Oh no, it was great. Believe me. I mean, I love that, especially when we have games on. Like we had the LAFC game on, and then you showed up, and then you grabbed your phone and we pulled up the Angel City game. So we're sitting in our little booth watching this game, trying to pay attention and trying to enjoy ourselves. But we did follow it, and then I went back, of course, and rewatched a lot of the highlights of this game as well. So. Anyways, that's how we watched it on a phone, and it wasn't. I mean, we certainly weren't cheering and jumping up onto the booth seats for anything exciting. So
No,
but that's okay.
no.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll let you get into it.
Yeah, the spoiler is we tried real dang hard, but we lost 1-2 to Washington Spirit after the Ashleys, Ashley Hatch and Ashley Sanchez, were able to get some goals in the first half. But Vignola fought hard and she did get that one back. So let's get into it. We were away on a lovely Saturday evening, and early into the game, kind of the first bit of action, Vignola actually starts it out with some energy, and she takes a shot that just hits the left side of the goal, and it bounces to the side of the post where Julie Ertz was able to get a quick opportunity in the 13th minute, and she tries to finish a header in the middle of the box from McCaskill's cross, but unfortunately just missing that upper 90. So definitely coming out strong from Angel City.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Washington Spirit, they're going to put the first goal on the board in the 33rd minute when Trinity Rodman, she's going to volley a ball from the right side of the box to Ashley Sanchez, who she attempted the shot, and it bounced off the crossbar after a tip. I believe Didi got a hand on it and unfortunately gave it right to Ashley Hatch, and she followed through with a header to finish it off. And I mean, no one was near Hatch. She was there. And unfortunately, that's a common problem that, that we see. These rebound shots are landing at the feet of open players that are able to tap it right back in. And there was not an ACFC person anywhere there. And, if it's Ashley Hatch, you would think they'd be like glued to her, but in this moment they weren't, and Washington Spirit's going to go ahead 1-0.
Yeah, and then just 8 minutes later, they had that momentum going, and Spirit score again as Matire is able to cross that ball from the far right side of the field, finding Ashley Sanchez, who was running into the box from the far right. And Sanchez just gets that great positioning, and she does this beautiful header. And unfortunately, it's now 0-2 with just a few minutes of stoppage time to go. And, Vignola comes out, and we're going to throw a quote in here because I think it allows you to get into her mindset, because I'll say it now. Vignola had all the energy for the team. She was definitely the one rallying. She was the one trying to fight to come back. And I really appreciated her in these moments. And I know I've said some not so positive things, but she's becoming my girl lately because she says that they just needed to come back together, that points or when you start to lose is when you can lose focus. And it was really important that everyone on the team got on the same track and they started to work together as a unit.
Yeah, and we're gonna see that by way of her. We're going to see them answer minutes later in stoppage time in the first half. Claire Emsley, she forced a tremendous pass into the left side of the box as Vignola, standing there wide open, nailed her first NWSL career goal to decrease the deficit going into halftime. We are now 1-2. Thankfully, oh my gosh, like, okay, we've got the momentum. That was an amazing
Mhm.
opportunity. What a goal. Did you have a chance to really go back and watch that? I mean, what a
I
rocket.
I can't believe it. Like, you see her celebration after, and I feel like, yes, just the power she's exuding as she's like, "Ah!"
I
Like,
mean,
you felt that throughout her whole play.
she's been wanting that for so long. We have said some things, in the past alluding to, her errors that she's had. And I've often said it's just unfortunate that the errors she makes aren't greater, they're just more impactful. So I love that she still has that fight and tenacity in her, and you could just see it building up throughout these moments leading up to that goal. And yeah, I mean that was exactly what we needed. However, I'm going to do a DD appreciation moment because we almost went into the half down 3-1, and talk about a momentum killer. In the 45 plus 5 minute, we're going to see DD. She's come out kind of far, off of, I guess, what was that, do we call that a free kick, or what do you call
Yeah,
that? Yeah,
free
basically
kick.
a free kick. She pulls herself out there and she just passes the ball to Nielsen, who I don't know exactly what happened, but she kind of mishandled it. It gets by her and she kind of turns to run through it. And all of a sudden, we've got Ashley Hatch, the last person that you want, standing right behind you with a loose ball, who
Ooh.
literally just launches it from the middle of the pitch to a wide open net. And if it weren't for Dee Dee in that moment, who runs and hustles her butt off and dives and swats that ball out, I mean, that was going in. That was going to be it. That was going to be, I think, the nail in the coffin. That was really going to suck the life and the joy out of this Angel City team. Thankfully, though, it did not. So
Yeah. And it goes back to just our playing style again. We went into the half leading possession, not by a lot, but with a good amount, and with 19 total crosses and 7 corners won. This just speaks more to our playing style. We want the ball. We just need to be able to finish. And, Vignola is asked, and I'm sorry, I think I keep pronouncing her name wrong, Vignola, because the G is slightly silent. I just can't do those sounds with my mouth.
Vignola.
Yeah. It's
That's what
one of
they kept
those that my
saying on
mouth
the
doesn't like.
broadcast. So they clearly get the broadcast notes and they should say in there how you pronounce it. So if they say it like that, then I'm going to go with that.
Yeah. And so she actually says how she saw an opening and she took it. That was her goal for this game, to get herself a goal. And she saw the space and she knew it was her moment and she just boom, beamed it to the upper corner.
Yeah,
And
it was a
then
beautiful goal.
in the second half, right away, Lily Nabet almost comes with an equalizer from the middle of the box after Emsley is able to get her a beautiful pass in the 46th minute. But it was a nice open look, and unfortunately, she just wasn't able to put it away. And the Spirit tried to respond in the 58th minute. Ashley Hatch dribbled the ball deep into the box, but Cheech was there and made an easy save.
Yeah, and then in the 60th minute, we're going to see another great opportunity for Angel City. Claire Emsley, she's going to put a great ball into the box, and it kind of looks like Thompson's kind of in that space as she kind of comes forward to the ball. It looks like she kind of got tripped up a little bit, and unfortunately, she wasn't able to really do anything with it. Camberos was behind her, and she did try to flick it in, but there was a lot of commotion in the box, and unfortunately, it did get deflected. But that was one of those moments where you're like,
Mhm.
ah, it was so close. And I just love Claire Emsley's ability to get those balls into those open spaces and create those opportunities. It's just, again, it's that final moment where we really need to be able to put these shots away, just like the one, with Lily Nabet. I mean, wide open at the top of the box. You've got to be able to, at the very least, get that on target.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely defense, defense, defense a lot during the second half. In the 71st minute, Cheech makes another save after Rodman was able to dribble inside the box, Also somebody you don't want dribbling around anywhere. Like,
Mm.
keep her in her defensive third. It makes me more comfortable. Uh,
Yes.
but she is almost able to get right up close on target. And, maybe she was offside, but we didn't have to worry too much because Didi was able to make an amazing save.
Right. I mean, that would have been another one of those moments where had she scored, I mean, you just kind of face palm like, ugh, oh my God, really? Are you kidding me? But there was a chance she was offside. I'm sure they would have looked at that as one thing with that very first goal. I don't know if you caught that they did go back and look at VAR on the very first Spirit goal to see if she was offside, because originally it was called that way, and they did call it back. So they you know boo hiss there. But either way, in the 87th minute, the Spirit is they're actually going to sub their keeper out. So I watched this a few times. I went back on the regular broadcast, watched it back a little bit, and I have some things to say about this. So in the 87th minute, which again, I've got my notes are kind of weird right now. Sorry, that was my fault. But I'll talk about this because it took a lot of time, and it'll ruin one reason why we ended up having so much stoppage time at the end. But we're going to see the keeper. She's actually going to signal to the trainer at one point, and Kingsbury's going to come off, and Barnhart is going to come in. She's going to make her first appearance this season. And I guess what it was is, if you go back a few minutes prior, Imsley made a run in the box, and she made a play on the ball. And unfortunately, her foot or her shin kind of caught Kingsbury's head, and she got a little bit of a knock. And I think after being there for a few minutes, I think she realized that, she wasn't okay, or, maybe she needed to go and sit down. What I think is cool, though, is we're going to see Barnhart come in, and, well, she's a legend. I don't know if anybody out there knows this. If you follow NWSL, she's a legend. She's 41 years old. 41 years old. She has 52 shutouts, and she has got the most all time in a season for a keeper. So we're going to see her go in late in stoppage time, though. She did take a knock herself when she went to save one of the shot on goal for LaRue. Her head bounced off of the
post.
The post. Yeah. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, we don't need two of their keepers to come out with concussions. So a lot of that happened. I think it started before this 85th minute shot that we're going to talk about, but it just kind of carried over into the 90th minute, because a couple of plays happened before Kingsbury actually signaled, okay, I'm not okay. So, good on her for realizing that she should not continue and, risking further injury in that time. So just want to say a quick blurb about that, but back to the game.
Yeah, and I mean, that shot you were talking about, that was in the 85th minute, and Emsley is able to get a shot over the crossbar, and then, sorry, that was before that, but the one you're talking about is in stoppage time, when Le'Veon actually steps up for a free kick, and she's able to chip it over to LaRue, who gets a diving header, but that ball is saved as she knocks her head. And, we fought really hard through this game. As we talked about earlier, that possession stat, we won it again, but unfortunately we could not find that equalizer. And okay, let's get into these stats, because I have good things to say, and then I have meh things to say. And I'll start with this. Freya says a quote, and she goes, "If we're looking at this data, it indicates a good performance for us. We're just lacking that final execution in both 18-yard boxes. We need to continue to drive on and push in those areas." And yes, Freya is absolutely right in this. But here's what I have a problem with this playing style. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. My problem with that is the playing style that Freya is implementing deals more with being able to possess the ball and to pass the ball together than it is to finish the ball. If we start maybe thinking of the back of the net as a player, maybe we can connect with it. But the playing style we have right now is too driven based on just getting certain stat lines up and assuming that the goal line will follow. And unfortunately, we are seeing that not work for us.
Yeah, there's not an award or like a ranking system for, possession or pass accuracy or shots. I mean, that stuff does matter, and it does ultimately a lot of times lead to the final score line being into your favor. But we're missing that piece. And I don't know I don't know how much more we sit here and we talk about this. Do you have any thoughts, Nina, on what needs to change? Is it formation? Is it players? Is it, coaching staff? Is it all of the above?
System, I would change the system. I think we are showing that this does not work for the talent we have, and you can't scrap a whole team.
Well, and we shouldn't. We have great talent. I mean, that's definitely apparent. I mean, we're seeing great things. It's just, I don't know, like you said, the system not allowing us to find that end game of putting it in the back of the net. I mean, and we do that. I mean,
Yeah.
Vignola was able to do that, early on, thankfully in the game, and she found that open space and she did finish that shot. And, that's a testament to her, being able, I mean, as a defender to have that kind of shot. I wish some of our other players had that kind of shot where, you don't think
Mhm.
about it too long. You don't sit there and play with it and look for someone else to pass it to. You just take the shot. I mean, said time and time again, take it. Like, let's deal with the
Yeah.
rebound. If anybody's as bad at clearing balls as we are, at some point we're going to get that rebound shot back in and, we're going to get that goal.
I think the only other thing we could do would be to work on our ability to score off of set pieces. Like, our playing style lends itself to getting a lot of corners, but we're not seeing those shots on target. So we need to either dedicate like full time to how are we scoring off corner kicks, so that way when we get 11 corners as we did in this game, we're converting at least 2 of those to goals.
You're not wrong. And unfortunately, this game did not do much for us in by way of standings. So let's talk about that.
Oh, boo, 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 boo.
I know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess we didn't drop. Oh,
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 where'd it go?
it
Ah,
got out of order. Oh my
oh,
gosh, it was almost chaotic for those
oh
of you
my.
on YouTube with us.
Oh,
Yeah.
saw a moment.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So right now we are still in 11th place. We not the bottom. We're not the bottom. We're not the
Only because
bottom. We're
of
not
goal
the bottom.
differential. Only because of goal diff.
Yeah, whatever.
We have the
But
same points as Casey at the basement, at the cellar dwellers that we are right now.
yeah, and what really bothers me about our current standing is, so we've got 2 wins, 3 ties, 6 losses. And since ties are not counted as losses, technically we have 5 games where we weren't defeated, but we
5
had
games we
6
didn't lose.
losses. Yeah.
5 games we didn't lose.
So we still had more losses than we had anything else. And that bothers me.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I mean, yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, I share that frustration with everyone out there. I mean, everybody is frustrated. You can feel it, and it's just we just got to get that win, and it's going to be very difficult in this next game. Let's go ahead
Yeah.
and talk about that as well, about what's coming up, what to expect.
Ooh.
But I'll tell you, if there's ever a game that can really restore some confidence and put us back on the map and put us back
Oh,
into
yeah.
fighting form, this is going to be it. So talk about this.
Yeah, this would be huge. This Saturday at 1 p.m., we're going down the coast. We're taking on San Diego Wave. And we know that our head-to-head record, we have 5 matches, or within the last 5 matches, San Diego Wave have won 3, we've drawn 1, and we have won 1. We are not in great form right now, with our last 4 games being losses. But, San Diego Wave has only won 1 of their last 4. So I'm saying there's a chance.
Way to find a weird silver lining there, Nina.
Yeah. And, we hinted at this earlier. We're going to take you through what ESPN had to say in 100 words or less about Casey Stoney and the San Diego Waves playing style. And this is an exciting playing style, in my opinion. Stoney doesn't necessarily dominate games in wide areas. She is using a very compact, so they're going to give up a lot of those alleys and a lot of those side lanes. She's giving that all up, and she's relying on vertical passes and winning in the air. And this is because of Taylor Korniak. She is 6'1", and she is the tip of the midfield. So she is able to get a lot of those long vertical balls, and she just runs behind defenders and gets that ball up to Alex Morgan and all their other strikers and creates great opportunities. Stoney takes advantage of the assets she has and has developed a playing style really central to that. It's like when Galaxy had Zlatan, and I think 85% of their passes were keeper to Zlatan.
Yeah, I mean,
It worked.
that's the type of player that is going to produce the results that you are trying to get. And is there a playing style that you think that we can utilize that would, like capitalize on our assets?
Second
I mean,
ball. Be all over the second ball, in my opinion. If you've got Korniak, you're never going to jump higher than her. We do not have somebody who can challenge a 6'1" person in the air.
we
So
do
what
not.
we have to do is be all over that second ball. And as soon as Korniak is bringing that ball down to her foot, because she's going to try and control it or she'll head it up. But as soon as you see that second ball, that needs to be where we are. We need to be reading that second ball and dominating there.
Did you text Freya and tell her that, please? Thanks.
I sent her a carrier pigeon memo and I texted her and no.
Right? Did you send a raven?
I should have, right?
Yes, right? All right. So that's what's going on. We are taking on San Diego Wave this Saturday. So everybody just send out all the good stuff. Get your sage, cleanse this whatever's going on with this team right now in LA in general. Right now, LA soccer just across the board is just having a moment. We're in our fields, and you know what? I think it's directly related to this terrible weather and lack of sun. I moved here for
this
sun.
This is New Seattle.
This is Seattle South, and I am not here for it. I moved here for the sun. I pay a lot of money called the sunshine tax for the sun, and it is not here. So I think our LA teams are all feeling a little down. They're feeling a little like we need it. All right. So hopefully that's coming. Hopefully goals are coming. Hopefully wins are coming. I think I don't know. I think maybe MA said it best.
Yeah, she absolutely did. And, if there's anyone who doesn't think this world sucks, it's Emma Vignola right now. And she says, we need to keep our heads up. After the last game, there was a lot of negative vibes thinking that we couldn't do this. But as long as we all believe in each other, we can really do it. We're going to get the 3 points that we want.
Well, as Ted Lasso said, believe.
Believe and believe.
Believe and believe. So, I mean, at this point, I don't know what else I can do. I certainly can't change anything. What they say, one of my favorite quotes is, if you can't change the situation, change the way you feel about it. I can't change the fact that Angel City is not winning. I can't change the fact that maybe we think changes should be happening and that we can't control. But I can change the way I feel about it. And the way I feel about it is I've seen the bright spots. I see that these girls, they do want it. They do. I think at this point, I think there's just a mental block there. I think they need this win is what they need. So I'm hoping that they look at this last game. I hope they take away a lot of good, positive things from it and, learn from maybe the few mistakes, that were made. And, they weren't bad. I mean, you can't take, one goal off of a bad rebound that was originally, didn't go in. And then other one, just, a great shot, off of a big cross ball. I mean, that was not a breakdown at any point of defensive efforts or a turnover or anything like that. So there are good spots to take away from it. I think if we could get a win or honestly even a draw against San Diego there in Snapdragon, I really think that is going to be a good turning point for this team. I think that's going to give them the confidence. I mean, because at this point, what do you have to lose? Throw it all out there. Let's go. Let's see what you girls can do. I know there's a ton of talent on this team, and I don't know. I'm not quite in my feels quite yet. I'm still trying to remain optimistic.
And with that,
bye.
And here's our fluff.
Be a goldfish. Be a goldfish, right,
Sam.
Everybody? Yes.
Believe and believe.
Yes. Oh, one thing we wanted to talk about. New pod.
Yes! Yeah, if you did not get enough of our little preview, you need to head over to our friend Mario and his pod partner with Casual FC Pod. They're going to be doing all Angel City match previews. Super excited. They've launched, I think, 3 episodes so far. So definitely go over there, give them a listen, give them a shout out, give them a like. Gotta love our partners in pod.
Yeah, I mean, we don't usually do a very in-depth, preview pod about things. I mean, we do, it's kind of on the back half. We're more of a like recap what happened, what do we think going forward. We give you a little bit, but well, I'm excited to see what they're going to bring to the table. And again, we always love to support our pod fam, as we like to call it, because we all have different views on this. I think I said on the last pod is we're just sitting here talking about a game, the same game you guys said, and you could put two different people in the same room and talk about the game, and you're going to hear a whole bunch of different things, I'm sure. So
Mhm.
this is just what we see and what we think, and hopefully you either agree or respectfully disagree.
Either way, we want you to tell us, or at
Okay,
least tell Amanda. I'm
yeah,
sensitive.
I'll fight you.
I'm sensitive.
Oh, that's funny. It's like Philly last night in the live. They did a live pod last night, and there was kind of a trolley kind of guy in the comments,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh God, like Christian, don't just ignore it. Don't say anything. Ooh. I'm like, do I block this guy and hide him just so he doesn't like distract him? But it worked out okay.
Yeah. Always fun. But
Yes.
yeah, let's talk about how I crashed your anniversary and what you did to celebrate.
Yeah, so Christian took me out to went to Hotel Figueroa downtown. We'd never been there, and stayed overnight for the on Saturday, and then woke up Sunday and had an amazing Italian brunch there at Hotel Figueroa. But that night, when we got there, we had dinner in the little restaurant there, and it's funny. I was sitting there, and all of a sudden, like Christian just moves all the way over to the wall. Like I'm across from him, and now he's over here, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, that's where my plate is. And so I took I took his plate and I like moved it or in front of me or moved my plate in front of me. I'm like, yeah, that was real hard. Like I said, why are you sitting over there like someone's coming to sit down with you? And I look up and like in that same sentence, I see you and JR come in and I'm like, oh, I love celebrating with other people. Like so much fun. So thank you for joining me on my anniversary. It was
Yeah,
so much
it was
fun.
fun. We had a good time. We had some good food. We got to commiserate together with some not so fun games. And
Yes, 2 bad games. I mean, LAFC got
oh, and then
blown
LAFC
out.
2 lost too. So
Like I said, every Los Angeles, team has not fared well. Galaxy drew,
Mhm.
was it yesterday?
I think so. What day is
Yeah,
it?
I don't know, that's why I'm like yeah, they drew against St. Louis, which was big for them, but
Yeah.
they did lose Chicharito to a torn ACL,
Yeah.
in their Open Cup match. So, again, all LA soccer teams right now are going through it. So, I feel like we need the sunshine to come out. We need it to, like, rain down, like, positivity and happiness, across the globe here, and hopefully that will inspire some wins, some
Mm.
great runs of play, and hopefully, some goals. Anyways,
I don't
that's all
even know
I
what
got.
I'm doing.
I don't know either. That's all I've got, Nina. I don't know,
Yeah. If you're
anybody
going
else.
down to San Diego, stop by Phil's Barbecue. We can't advertise that enough, mostly because we want you to bring us some of your leftovers. Okay, thanks.
Love it. So, anyways, we will hopefully see you guys very, very soon. Bye.